So the focus of the branch representatives meeting today is Congress 2014, and we're pleased to announce that it's going to be held in Melbourne, the world's most livable city. It's being held from Friday 30th of May to Sunday 1st of June, and it's hosted by our Melbourne branch. And Andrew Hall is online today, and when we get to the appropriate item we might ask Andrew to give us a little outline of what the branch are planning as far as activities surrounding Congress 2014. The venue is going to be at the Ridges Hotel Melbourne. That's right in the city in Exhibition Street for those that know Melbourne, so it's very central. The welcome function is being hosted by Melbourne branch of the iconic MCG, and we'll get Andrew to report on that shortly. We have our awards dinner on the Saturday evening at the Langham Hotel Melbourne, and we have our AGM on the Sunday 1st of June at the Congress venue. So the Congress will run from Thursday night with informal drinks. They're optional, of course, but the proceedings will start on Friday morning at about 8:30 a.m. So Friday and Saturday will run from 8:30 till 5 p.m. and then the Sunday is a half day to normally between 11 and 12 close. So for those who might be wanting to know when to arrive in Melbourne and when to depart, if you want to engage in the full program, it is advisable to get in on Thursday evening, unless of course you can get some early morning flights into Melbourne on Friday morning. Otherwise, Thursday night is advisable and check out from Sunday lunchtime. And we'll just move to the next item. So before we move on, I just would like to open up for if anyone got any questions. Okay. Yes.
We have had a question from Ivy at our Perth branch asking if there will be any field trips accompanying this Congress.
Thank you. Thank you, Ivy. And at this stage, no, but I might actually put you over to Andrew Hall, who might give us a bit of an overview of what they plan for Melbourne. Andrew, are you happy to take the group through?
Yeah, of course, Miriam. Just briefly, we've decided to have the welcome function the Friday evening at the MCG, the Harrison room there, which is quite a modern function room that overlooks the ground. Before anyone asks, there's no football on that night, so we'll have the MCG more or less to ourselves. We'll be running a function with all the essentials, beer and wine, and some finger foods as well, from planned at the moment from about 6 till 9. Before the function starts, we've organised, or in the process of organising, some tours where those that are interested will be able to arrive an hour early and go on a tour, get onto the ground, go through the changing rooms, the long room, and fairly some other, I guess, iconic parts of the MCG as well, and then through the tour. So the plan, I think, is to have everyone bussed from the hotel across to the ground, and then just entering straight into the function room. So I think it'll be a very pleasant evening, and looking forward to it.
All right, well, we might move on now to travel and accommodation. And by now all the sub-entities have had their information circulated to them on an outline of Congress and the representation at Congress. Just to run through it quickly for you, is that from each sub-entity there is one representative that we cover the cost of attendance, and that is someone from each of the sub-entities that is able to participate in all of Congress. So it's something that the sub-entities need to consider as a group as to who would be the best representation person to attend and represent their sub-entity and attend the Congress all throughout Congress, all the functions. The cost of attendance is covered by the Congress budget, and it is return economy airfares for one, shuttle transfers, meals, the AusIMM awards dinner, and accommodation for 3 nights. So any sub-entities that wish to have additional members attending Congress are most welcome, but it will be at the cost of the sub-entity or the individual. And I think Matt had a query on for the Roxby branch about bringing additional attendees to Congress. They're most welcome, Matt. However, we only cover the cost of one of those representatives to attend, and the other three would need it to be provided through the branch funding or through the allocation that you received in your sub-entity funding. And as far as limits on them, I believe you're thinking of having 4 people attend from the branch. As a revitalised branch, it's a great idea. Get people to know other branches and members, and also the workings of the AusIMM. So I think it'd be very beneficial. The student chapter representation this year is a little bit different in the sense of the board did approve at its December meeting some additional funding to cover student chapter representation, and that's for one student chapter representative. Generally it's the president, for return economy, airfares and ground transport. However, all the other costs to be like shuttle transfers, meals, awards dinner and accommodation needs to be covered by the student chapter or the sub-entity, the branch, through their sub-entity funding, because some branches did receive sub-entity funding upon their request, which is to cover their student attendance. Other than that, if the branch can support the student to attend, or some of the student chapters have got quite healthy bank balances, so they might be able to support that themselves. We just ask that the branches really work together with the student chapter in looking at the best way to support their attendance in 2014. So I might just open this for questions, because I know some people might have some queries in regards to attending Congress. Do we have any questions from the floor?
Miriam, Peter Waggett in Darwin.
Yes, Peter.
We have a past president who's just moved to Melbourne who might want to come and support us. Obviously there'd be no transportation or accommodation charge.
No.
Would we get any financial support for him, or do we have to pay his meals?
Look, it is, I know, because it's in Melbourne, there would be the delegate day charge and the functions, particularly the dinner, I think the branch would need to cover. But other than that, he'd be most welcome.
Okay, thanks for that.
That's all right.
Jim Morrison, North Queensland.
Yes, Jim.
Yeah, we don't have a student chapter here, but there is an agreement between the AusIMM and the student groups, and we do have a representative who sort of attends meetings and things. Would he be covered by the student chapter fare or not?
The student chapter representation covers the formal student chapters, the ones that we do have. However, it's the branch is most welcome to bring them along to Congress as a member and as representing the students up in Townsville. But I just, is the branch happy to look at covering costs to attend? Maybe
I was just sounding out whether there's potentially an airfare available or not.
Yeah, I guess we need to look at the future of that, the representation there, as far as is there a planned intention to have a student chapter. I know there's been talk about that for a while. So if it was a way to develop a student chapter and move that forward, then we could look at how we might help you there.
Yes,
so maybe we should take that one.
Later.
Perhaps we should take that one offline if you want to investigate that. And I can get Xanthus Weaver out, who looks after our education and all our student chapters, to work with you on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jim.
Peter Hills, Tasmania. Miriam?
Yes, Peter.
We have a committee member who is fortunate enough to be receiving an award. Wondering and therefore would be flown to Melbourne and accommodated on the Saturday night anyway.
Yes.
What additional charges would we be up for him to attend the whole Congress?
Oh, you'll be up for the just the day delegate package, which is around about $69 per day. The dinner would be covered, accommodation if you had any additional nights. And the accommodation's about $180 plus breakfast is $200 a night, and transfers. Although the transfers might be included in the awardee package. I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we get those booked and charged to our account? The charges that would come to us.
Yes, you can.
Yep. Okay.
What we try to do is, now I know there's a query coming from Les McCracken at the moment, and he's just queried us on the flight bookings for partners. Will you do these and seek reimbursement from the member attending, or do we need to book partner flights ourselves? What we do recommend is that everybody books through the AusIMM, and then we will do reimbursements or send invoices. So I would suggest in that case, Les, if you want to do it as a package with yourself, that you come through us and we do the whole booking, and then we work out the costing and raise invoices. If you want to vary from that, you need to come and talk to us, but we do really encourage that we look after all flight accommodation and transfer bookings.
No, that's fine. It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Do we have any other questions on travel and accommodation?
Yeah, Matt Wilkie, Roxby Downs.
Hi.
G'day. Is the accommodation-wise, is that all at where the main function's going to be? Are we all staying there, or spread out anywhere over Melbourne?
No, it's all at the Ridges, Melbourne, and there's a block booking which will accommodate all the Congress delegates there, so you'll all be together in the one venue.
Yeah, no drama. Thanks.
Now, the next item we wanted to go through was registration, and I've just mentioned that one delegate from each branch, a society, community and student chapter to attend the full program. Additional delegates may register, and they will pay for their own travel, hotel, transfers and functions such as the awards dinner and the welcome function. The registration opens the first week of April via the AusIMM website. However, you will receive a letter to all sub-entities, and branches will receive a letter advising them that registration is now open and to register and make your bookings as soon as possible. Once registered delegates have done that and they receive the confirmation, we then will look at all your available flight options, and we will come back to you with what we find is available or suitable with your requirements, and then once they're confirmed, we will then book the flights and away we go with sending you the information. So the registration is coming out shortly, but we don't have registration open at this time. Does anyone have any queries with that as we've gone? For those that have got a computer, you'll see the costs that have come up now on the screen, and they're really for the additional delegates. Congress attendance is $69 per day, so that's a day delegate package, so it's over 2 days. Informal drinks, that's on our first evening, the Thursday night, and that's just a formal drinks for delegates that arrive between, it'll probably go from 6 to 7, and that's just at the bar at the Ridges where people just buy a drink and catch up with who's on site at that time. The welcome function then is on the Friday night, hosted by the Melbourne branch, and I believe the Melbourne branch will be covering a certain amount of people, guests attending that function. Definitely all the delegates will be covered by the Melbourne branch, but there may be some charge if we go over our limit, and I might get Andrew Hall to come back and talk to that in a moment. There is the option of the MCG Sports Museum tour. I'm not sure if that's still going to be an option, because I know the Melbourne branch were working out the details a little while ago. So Andrew, I might ask you to come back on that. The awards dinner is $143 per person. Accommodation is $180 per night, with breakfast makes it $200 per day, and the airport transfers return are $28. Now, if anybody does want to park at the Ridges Hotel, there is a charge of $20 per day. Flights, of course, are variable. So we might just go back now to Andrew Hall to see if he's got anything to add in relation to the MCG and the welcome function. Andrew.
Thanks, Miriam. Yeah, we've crunched our numbers, and I guess this will be confirmed shortly. But at this stage, I guess we've sort of budgeted to cover up to 20 additional guests if people have come down with partners and those sorts of things. So, but it will be limited because obviously we've got a finite budget and resources. So, and that's what will be, I guess, finalised very shortly. In terms of the other event, there is an option, of course, to go through it, and people can look at the museum and those sorts of things if they want to. Logistically, it was quite difficult to organise, so we'll have that as an optional extra, and people can pay for that and undertake that the tour of the museum if they want to, either instead of the MCG tour or getting there earlier in the day. I guess the feeling was it'd take quite some time, having looked at the museum, to make your way through, and there's various different rooms as well. So I think that's sort of something that is left up to individuals' preference. Has that answered your questions, Miriam?
Yes, thank you. Now I do have Les asking will we email the presentation to us, and yes, we can, and we will. We will email this presentation to all the sub-entities online after the meeting, which might be handy for you in talking at your branch meetings together. Thank you. Anyone else have any further questions on registration, please?
Yes, Mahala, it's Matt Redford from Southern Queensland branch. Is the accommodation you said was $180? Is that per room or per person?
Per room.
Okay, thank you.
We've also had a question from Ivy saying, can the AusIMM accommodation package rates be applicable for extension of stays either before or after Congress?
Yes, normally, Ivy, we can extend it for 2 to 3 days before and 2 to 3 days after. So for those that want to come and stay a bit longer and enjoy the world's most livable city, yes, we'll have room prices for you. Okay, next one is, all right, then we might move on to sub-entity presentations, and this is a really important item for the planning of Congress. Last year we had quite an extensive program. For those that were there, we did have 2 panel sessions, we had 3 workshops with 3 breakouts, and we had 4 pre-Congress workshops, and we together with some entity presentations of 36. So it's a challenge for us each year to improve and work the program so that it's not so full for delegates. We catch all the items that need to be addressed, and there's time for networking and socialising. So at this time, it's really important that with the sub-entity presentations that we get to hear from you sooner rather than later about your issues and priorities, because once we receive those, we can then build upon our workshops and determine the topics that need to be addressed by delegates. And so we ask that people, when they receive the information, it did go out on last Friday, that they meet as soon as they can with their branch and discuss the items that they would like raised at Congress. And there's 2 types. There's the one where we ask you to put down your issues and priorities, which we would like to pick up and have discussed in the strategy sessions of Congress. And then there's the other 2 slides where it's an activity summary of what 2013 and 2014 may bring, and that's included in the Congress workbook for the information of everybody. And I think it's a very good item, because I know a lot of branches do read through those and see what other branches are up to, and it gives them ideas. And then it's also the basis of talking amongst each other at Congress. We are going to continue running again this year with the sub-entities workshops. We found them quite valuable, and with that, from our feedback from delegates, and that will be a branch workshop, a societies workshop, and a student chapter workshop. So there'll be forums where these groups can get together and discuss issues and activities of importance to them. We'll then have the main plenary session where branches will get a chance to have a 5-minute presentation to the Congress delegates on their initiatives and activities. We will then have our strategy sessions, and we're hoping to, between the strategy sessions and the panel sessions, keep those to 3 to 5, not, I guess we had about 6, 9 last year, and it was a little bit too heavy for everybody. And as I just mentioned, the branch society and student chapter workshops. So if everyone has received their sub-entity notices about presentations and summary of issues, we ask that if you wouldn't mind getting onto that as soon as you can, because as soon as we get them, we can then start actioning and formulating the program. It's probably, people that have been to Congress for a few times actually understand what the process is and what's involved, and may help the ones that are new to Congress, because, and if you need any help offline, please don't hesitate to call Marla or myself, and we can help work through that with you. Right, so no questions there. We might move on then to our deadlines, and as I was saying earlier, it's quite important that we do have your presentation templates by the 20th of February. And there's 3 there. There's the, as I said, the issues and priorities, and then the activities ones. So the 3 slides altogether. We will be sending you out a reminder early April. The registration's open on the 3rd of April. The presentation and summaries are due on the 16th of April. Then the formal AGM notice email will go out to you on the 30th of April, and that'll be held on the Sunday morning. At this time, we also, if any branch is considering hosting Congress 2016, we would like your expression of interest and the opportunity to talk to you about how presenting your bid at Congress, and if we could have that by the end of April also. You might note that next year the Congress will be hosted by the Perth branch, 2015, so we will be opening for bids for 2016. The registrations close for the Congress on the 16th of May, and you will all be sent your confirmation emails on the 23rd of May, and then directly following Congress we will send you a summary of the Congress outcomes, and that will be the end of June. And as I've just mentioned, Congress is to be hosted by the Perth branch, and at Congress 2014 we will hear from the Perth branch about the hosting and what we can expect in 2015, and that then should be followed by the bid for 2016. So we look forward to that. Now we'll probably just open up the meeting for any general questions and answers. We did build this meeting around Congress, and if you do have any queries or questions that you need answered, please, or if you need to raise anything, please, it's open now for anybody to come forward.
There's a question from Ivy here saying, are we voting for a new president at Congress, or will Jeff be continuing on?
No, Jeff will not be continuing on. His second year ends at the end of 2014, and yes, there will be the voting of a new president, or the announcement of a new president in for 2015.
Has that been nominated for already?
We have received 1 nomination.
Will we end up knowing the nominees beforehand?
I imagine so. Yes, you will.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm just not sure when. It's only just happened last week. Where the process is, yes, you will be informed. The branch will be informed beforehand.
Yep.
But we're very much looking forward to Congress. It's going to be another successful event, and we're going to be building a theme around engaging professionals, demonstrating leadership. So I think there's opportunities for people to put forward some good ideas and suggestions on what we can discuss as a group with your board in Congress 2014 in Melbourne. So thank you very much, everybody, for attending. I really look forward to working with you soon, and please don't hesitate to contact us at any time for assistance.